Hey everyone, it's Megan Elizabeth and Britt and Lynn from AboveRubyStudio.com, and we're here in the third week of DIY custom jewelry. Britton, thanks so much for being here for this. You've opened my world.
Thanks for having me.
Opened my world to all of this stuff, and it's so much fun. I've become completely addicted. If you guys have been following me on Facebook, it's Facebook.com/follow Above Rubies, and Britton's is Facebook.com/follow. Not follow.
Just Britt and Lynn.
I'll get it right eventually. Here, you can follow these links right here. Follow us. Come like us. Post your pictures of the projects that you create based off of these videos, because I know there's going to be many of you out there. But if you already do follow me, I posted a couple weeks ago now that I made some domino jewelry for my stepdaughter, Riley. She turned 7 this year, and I've tried to make her something for her birthday almost every year. Like, I met her when she turned 1. Yeah, she turned 1 when Sean and I were together. So so I try to make her something every year, and domino jewelry was the thing for this year. So now we took it and we made some domino jewelry for my daughter Genevieve, and we did myself. I'm in love with the one. Okay, so this is what I made for myself. Now you have to watch the whole video to find out how I made this intricate, gorgeous, absolutely fabulous. I'm in love with it. I'm kind of really proud of it, and took me moments to put together, and it just is so awesome. And they're really definitely talk about pieces of jewelry.
Yes, I think so.
And they can really speak to your personality and your style and be customized to say, you know, my daughter's name Genevieve is not an easy one because I spell it with a J and it's weird, and Brina and Balin are Britton's kids, and
those are weird names too.
Not weird, but they're different, and they're
weird in a good way.
Yeah,
they're different. Yes.
Anyway, so let's get down to creating some awesome custom domino jewelry. Britton, this is something that I'm super excited about doing. This is something that you actually gave me inspiration on through Pinterest, I think it was, but then actually I have to even go back further than that, because one of my very first CHA trade shows, there was a woman there who was making necklaces out of dominoes. Now, she was actually drilling holes through the dominoes and doing a lot more with, like, not a lot more with them, but I felt like they were like, oh my gosh, this is hours and hours and hours of time, and this is crazy, and domino jewelry is so intimidating. And then Britton actually sent me like some inspiration through Pinterest of things people were doing, and we got like really excited about it. And then I started experimenting, and I feel like I made it even easier than some of the tutorials that I've seen out there, and it really works well. So what you're gonna need is alphabet stamps, any other kind of mini stamps. I have some rub-ons here, and I also have the 3D Galaxy Gloss. I found this works best personally on the domino tiles, but you can also use Mod Podge to seal, but I feel like sometimes Mod Podge leaves, I want to say, like brush stroke marks, and it leaves like a different kind of look to it. It's not as glossy, like one dimension. I don't know what I'm trying to say, but it's just different. So I really like this particular thing for that. The other thing that's out there, Lisa Pavelka has a UV resin. There's several resins out there. But you can use her UV resin. You can just stick it in like the Teresa Collins stamp maker that I have, or you can stick it out in the sun. You can just stick it out in the sun, like outside for a couple hours during the day. You can do anything like that. So, but this you don't need to set with anything special. You don't need any special light. It just air dries, and it air dries super fast. So definitely, I would say add this to your scrapbooking collection. I don't want to enable too many people and get in trouble.
You're too late for that.
But I know, right? But this really works for so many different things beyond jewelry making too. All right, let's get started. I want to make a domino tile necklace for my daughter Genevieve. She's going to be turning 4 here in a couple months, and so I thought, I actually made one of these for my stepdaughter Riley, who turned 7 this year, and I took the number 7 domino, or 5, 5, 6, 7, and I did that on the back of her necklace, and I put her name on the front. And I just thought, that how cool is that my daughter, my stepdaughter, whoever can remember the year that they got it based off of just the numbers on the back. It's just that little like subtle, sentimental kind of thing that you might not think too much about when you're giving it to somebody, and maybe it doesn't matter, but it's just a fun little extra touch. So I'm taking 1, 2, 3, 4, and I'm making that for Genevieve. So I'm just going to flip this over, and really it's as simple as stamping. So you just want to pick out the stamps that you want to use. And I'm going to start with the letter J, and I'm just going to go right on through and spell out Genevieve. So I have my little stamps, and I just want to make sure that I line them up. And I'm just going to be kind of wonky with, I know, like, for me, these kind of stamps are a little bit more difficult to line up. I don't know. Do you find it difficult to line up?
Well, they're tiny
and
they're
tiny
wood.
And,
you can't see
yeah, you
exactly.
can't really see. So I just kind of go in a pattern to spell her name across. And then I actually don't worry about it, because what I do then is fill in with the little tiny images, and I go off, and I don't worry about it then. So we're just going to go across. I want to make sure that they're facing the right way and they're not upside down, so you want to always look first. But then you kind of get down at eye level with it, and you just sort of twist them, and then it doesn't matter. So let's do J-E. And this is a really cute, like, girly, cutesy
That's a great
stamp
little
set.
font.
Yeah. This I actually picked up at a dollar store.
Oh my gosh.
Believe it or not.
I don't find stuff like that at my dollar store.
So anyway, you just want to keep stamping across. And this is really great because, there are kids in classrooms, and these are a great kids classroom gift, teacher gift. You can just do a lot with these. So you can write a last name on a stamp, Mrs. I don't know, give me a last name. Mrs. Smith. You can write,
You can write phrases, you can put a quote, there's tons of stuff you can put on
you can just do a lot with a little stamp set.
And it's nice because it's a bigger piece of, I like to call it real estate when you have that much room to work with. You've got a little bit more real estate to work with than say a Scrabble tile or even the glass tiles that we've been using. You've got a little bit more room to play.
So now what I'm going to do is fill in the rest of the necklace with little other image stamps. So you don't have to be like afraid of kind of, where things line up, because you can go any which way with them. So I'm going to go like up here in the corner. You kind of just stamp off a little bit, and it kind of fills in, like she just said, the real estate. You can do a lot with it. And then what I like to do, you just want to press gently, because if you smush too hard, you're going to have a hot mess.
That looks so cute.
Yeah. And you just kind of touch on there. Little petal here, a little petal there. So it's that simple, right?
It stays on, comes in different colors.
Yes, but what I like to do is grab my Bic Market markers. I really like these a lot. These work really well for this kind of, you can use alcohol-based markers or anything else. You want to wait for that to dry for a few seconds before you add any extra color or do anything, but you can color right on top of this. Be careful, because the inks will kind of pick up on each other a little tiny bit. A little bit. But you can, I'm going to go in and like color in the inside of my dragonfly here. And this is a great way just to add a few pops of color without going I want to say crazy. Right? Because we don't want to add we don't want to take away from the cuteness of that plain little black and white tile. But if you're giving it to a little girl, like in my case, my daughter, my 4-year-old daughter, she's going to want to see like her pink and her favorite little colors on there.
Just thought of something else you can put on there.
Yeah, what'd you think?
Do you know what you can put in this? Think about what you could put in the center of the flowers.
Oh, you could put tiny little sparkle lights in the center of the flowers. Oh yeah, absolutely. You could add some rhinestones. So to add rhinestones onto here, what you would need to use is you would actually need to use the E6000 to do this. And you would want to be really careful that you don't gush it over the sides, because if you do, you're going to see like the extra strings, and you're going to see like a life preserver around your rhinestone, and you don't want to see that. But that's what you'd have to use on the front of this. So I'm just coloring in. I'm not going, like I said, I'm not going crazy with the color. I don't want to add too much that it takes away from anything, and I don't want it to make it look too busy. Like, there's a lot of stamping going on here. She has a long name with a name like Genevieve. I don't know what her parents were thinking, but we call her Jenna, and I still love the name Genevieve. But It's a long one, and it's spelled differently than anything else, than any other way of spelling Genevieve. So, I'm too nuts with the color. Let's add just a little bit more pink, and then we're going to finish this off. I like to seal these necklaces. I don't like to leave them to their own demise. Even with the Stays On ink and everything that you're using, I still like to have some kind of sealant on there. So while that's kind of drying, I don't want to seal it yet. I'm going to grab my E6000, and the same thing that we showed before with our glass pennants and things. You want to use the E6000 on the textured side, and I just put a tiny little amount on there. Seal that up, and this is going right in the center. Right, literally smack in the center of my domino. And I love this because it just really does say, like, she's 4 years old. Like, it's
cute.
So cute.
I love that the line goes down the middle. You know exactly where the center is.
Exactly where the center is. Exactly. You're not, like, trying to guess. So you know where the center is. You're going to wait for that to dry. I'm going to kind of hold that in place and press it on there firmly. And then we're going to seal it off and set it aside to completely dry. So actually, I'm going to bring my craft mat over a little bit here. We're just going to put it on the edge of the craft mat. I'm going to grab my Galaxy Gloss. It already has the applicator brush on there, and you need such a little bit of this. Like, I can't even tell you how long this is going to last because you need such a little tiny bit. We're just going to do a few brush strokes right across. I would not recommend, if you're going to seal this, don't use alcohol ink, as we kind of found the alcohol ink.
Ask her how she knows that.
The alcohol ink reacted to this Galaxy Gloss. So I'm sure there's another kind of resin or sealer that you could use, but I found the Bic Market markers did not react.
Yeah, that works perfect.
Yeah, at all. And it's a perfect little coat, and you just kind of go across and you let it kind of settle out on its own. If there's too much on there, you can kind of go back in with the brush, but it really just gives this perfect little extra coat and sealant right on there, and it just looks much more finished.
Yes.
It looks like, you went out and you bought this from some fancy boutique or something along those lines. So there's Genevieve's name right there on that domino tile.
I think those stamps are going to find their way into my suitcase, just saying.
Uh-oh. Yeah, it's
So
a really cute stamp set. Okay, the other thing that you can do, and this is even simpler, I'm going to use this, a little bit of a smaller domino. I have 2 different size dominoes that I've been working with. Don't ask me why, but I do. I found this rub-on, and this was actually in the BU set collection. Yeah, you want to hand that to me? Thanks, Britton. Britton's like my main muscle here. This is the BU set. It's a little like kit, and it has all the paper in it, and it has element stickers and glitter cutouts and rub-ons, and it has transparencies. This is a great, I'm in love with this. I keep gushing about it, but I really am. I love the colors, and I actually have this one little piece hanging in my room just by itself. Anyway, here's the little rub-on sheet, and I cut that out because I thought, oh my gosh, this is so beautiful for a Scrabble tile. Or a Scrabble tile, yeah, that's not what this is. This is a domino tile, but it could work on a Scrabble tile too. What I really want to do is just place my domino down on the table, and then I'm going to center this the best I can on my domino. Now, obviously, it's much bigger than this domino. You could use one of the larger dominoes, and I might want to be careful because I already pressed it down. You could use a bigger domino and center it on there and get, do the more real estate. But I liked the smaller. I felt like it was a little bit more dainty and a little bit more elegant for this kind of pattern. And all I'm doing is, you can take any kind of rub-on tool or a popsicle stick and literally rub it on. It comes off so easy too. I think Britton was actually shocked. She was like, I don't know if it'll stick, and I don't know if it'll, and I was like, oh no, it'll work.
That's
and
a
it
good
did.
quality rub-on, actually.
Yeah, these are really great quality. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I guess I haven't really messed too much. I use either Kaiser Craft rub-ons or Fancy Pants rub-ons, and I'm wrapping this around the sides too. That's what I use. But these are really good quality, so I can't speak for other, dollar store rub-ons or whatever out there.
I've had issues with the cheaper ones.
Yeah. So I'm really wrapping this around the sides.
That's what I would have done.
And pressing it down. Now, everything's not quite coming off I don't think it has a quality issue. I think it's a sizing issue.
Oh, it's because, yes.
But just so everybody can kind of see that. And I'm going to just kind of trim that off a little bit and not worry too much about it. But I'm like just pressing down with my fingers at this point, and it's sticking right to there. Now, once again, we are going to go in, I'm going to go in and seal this. Look how gorgeous that looks. Doesn't that just...
Oh, I like that.
It pops. It absolutely pops. And I could just see doing colored rub-ons, and there's just so many options of things that you can do with beautiful rub-ons. All right, so I want to trim this out so that it looks, you know, really good and complete. And so I'm just going to rub my finger across it, pick up any little, I don't want to say excess, but it is excess. It's the overhang. And grab a pair of scissors here. And I just want to trim that off with my scissors. I don't want it all the way on the back. And it probably doesn't really matter. You're not really going to see it too much. And this is just a random one. It happens to be another number 4, but that was just at random. It doesn't always have to mean something, right?
4 is my favorite number.
Is it?
It is. Which means maybe I'll need to take that.
I'm thinking she's playing me now. I'm thinking Britton is trying to pull an angle on me. I guess I could ask you why 4 is your favorite number, but...
I don't have a reason. I don't. It's just my favorite number.
My favorite number is 8.
Do you have a reason?
Sort of, but it's not one that would make sense to anybody else in the world, so it's not even worth explaining.
I have no idea why. It's just the number that I like.
Alright, I'm actually going to seal this. I'm going to use the Galaxy Glaze again. And I'm going to seal it before I keep calling it glaze. It's gloss. Galaxy Gloss. But this adds, it actually raises up when it dries. Like you can see some lines in it, but it actually does give a real level of dimension. I'm going to go along the sides too, so it's probably going to stick a little bit. I really like how this looks. This is just so...
Me too, me too.
You get the mustache.
No,
it's mine.
I already claimed the mustache. I'm already wearing the mustache.
It's barely dry.
It's barely dry. I put it on.
I'm sorry about my head. I'm going to edit that out. Okay, so there is our other domino piece. And you just, we're going to attach a bail the same way. So you just grab another one. You're going to use your E6000 and the same thing. Now you can also, the steps that we used for the glass tile, you can do the same thing again with your domino piece as well. You can just take your favorite sheet of paper, and then if you're having trouble with getting it to be an exact size, because say there's like rounded corners here, do you know my trick to this, Britton? Did you ever see me do this?
No.
Okay, so one of the things that I do, we'll use the same piece of paper just because I have it here. I'm going to cut this out really quick so that you guys can see. We'll take one of these little pieces and we'll just do it all in green. So I really like this anyway. It doesn't. The reverse side's really pretty, so maybe we'll use the reverse just for something different. So you're gonna cut it out, and it doesn't have to be perfect. Like, this is the thing with jewelry making, which I never realized until I really started getting into it recently, was that you know, a lot of times with card making or with scrapbook pages, you really have to be precise or it looks off. With this, not as much.
Not as much.
Not as much. I'm going to cover this side. I'm going to actually cover the number side, for example. And you can see it's not a straight line.
Right.
That's not a straight line at all. But it's a little bit bigger. It's good to have it be a little bigger than too small.
Oh, yes.
So if you go a little bigger, I'm actually going to use my Galaxy Gloss as my adhesive on this particular one. I'm just going to put it right on the Scrabble tile.
Domino tile.
Domino tile! Holy moly! It must be getting late or something. I don't know. Place it down. Make sure it's on there, you know, as close to center or whatever it needs to be as possible so that you're not seeing excess white hanging out. Press it down. Wait a few seconds for it to dry. It doesn't take long with that gloss. And then all I grab is a nail buffer, a nail file. That's all you need.
You're going to sand off the edges.
And all you do is sand right off the edges. And the cool thing is, if you go like in on it, like I'm actually wrapping it around, you're going to get the white edge of
the paper?
The paper the core of the paper, but you're also going to get the edge of the domino. So the roundness of the domino is going to actually take over, and it just becomes like it was made this way.
Custom, yes.
It's a custom fit. It was like this was always on there, and nobody's going to know that you just took a little bit of adhesive and stuck it down. Nobody's ever going to know, which is really what this is all about. When people don't know that, you can say, oh, I made this, but nobody has a clue that, you really made this, you're lying to me kind of thing. That's the coolest feeling in the world. So now you get the roundness of the corners of the domino. And who doesn't have these in their drawers, right? I mean, if you don't,
in your bathroom.
In your bathroom. And it's smoothed out. And this is cool, because then you could stamp right on top of there.
Put rub-ons on top of there, whatever you want to do.
You could put anything on there. But then, make sure you finish it off with some kind of, resin or glaze or whatever it is. And just get rid of the little bit of excess, and you're done. It's so fun.
That's cute.
It's really, really cute. So those are 3 of our little domino tile jewelry ideas. Yes. So you could do them any which way, and I think you guys, I can't wait to see what you do, because I know you guys are going to come up with like, oh, I know I have the perfect paper, or I have the perfect rhinestone, or I have the perfect whatever. Post it. Can't wait to see it. Thanks, guys.